Hello everyone and welcome to the 37th episode of the Sci-Fi Podcast. Today we'll be chatting about Ubisoft taunting their own players, Overwatch changing the name of an original character, and the upcoming state of play from Sony, and much, much more. Joining me today is Anf, Charbs, and Josh. How you going, guys?
Howdy.
Yo, pretty good.
You started when you said state of play. Were you going to say Nintendo Direct or something?
No, I wasn't sure if I was going to... I was originally going to say Sony state of play, and then I was going to say state of play for Sony, and so my brain did that. And I'm Jack.
Ah, yes, the Sony state of play brought to you by Sony.
It's pronounced Sound of Play.
Sound of play.
Oh, are we going to have to end the podcast after a minute because you make horrible jokes?
No, I don't make horrible jokes.
It's our branding.
Actually, yeah, it's our brand. Damn it.
That and telling people not to buy games for some reason.
Yeah, our gaming podcast.
We actually went on a good period where we didn't do that for a while.
I know.
That was because we were on hiatus.
But we're bringing it back.
I didn't think we needed to.
We're bringing it back, boys. We're bringing it back. Can you tell us what's happening with Ubisoft?
Oh, I can tell you. So, Ubisoft is sending out emails to players. That's sort of fourth wall, sort of in-game content about just, you decided to stop playing. You've only played for 3 hours and you've only killed this many people. Looks like me as the villain. I'm taking control now. So it's like it's an email from Ubisoft, but it's like directed at the player from the main villain. I
feel that really creepy.
It is a little bit creepy that they just have all the stats on you. Like, they have that, but it's just...
See, I wouldn't mind it so much if it was like more of an integrated into the game thing, but the fact that they're emailing me saying like, not playing our game, are you?
It's like, I guarantee you there's one person who's heard the email notification and they're waiting on like a response from a job interview. They're like, holy shit, I got the job. And it's just Anton Castillo giving him shit.
I'm trying to get a job, are you?
You know what the worst thing is about that scenario is that I think the quote that pops up when you open that email is he says, "Is that the best you can do?"
It literally is, yeah.
I'll admit it's kind of cool though. Like
I like it, but it's also a little bit like, really?
Like intrusive?
No, surely you can do better than this.
Yeah.
Because
this Far Cry 6 one, it's hola, Rogers. I wanted to thank you for giving me free reign in Yara. Take it easy, know that Yara is in capable hands. El Presidente. And then it's got, surely you can do better this, and it's got your hours played, total kills, unique weapons, stealth kills.
I like it.
It's just weird.
There's just like a sense of immersion to it. Like, technically, if you stop playing, that's what would actually happen to the world if you actually stop playing.
Ev, I was saying before, if this was like integrated into the game, I would actually find it very interesting.
Yeah.
Like if you boot up the game after like taking like a 2-month break.
By the way, the subject is you disappoint
you kind
me.
of get that.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be tough to do it properly. But like, I think it would be cool if like you didn't play the game for 3 days. You like when you load the game up again, you wake up and like Clara or one of the other like allies in the game is like, "Where the fuck have you been for 3 days?" Like something like that would be cool.
That
reminds
like
Animal Crossing where you come out after a year and dude, it's been like 300 days. What happened?
That reminds me of when you quit the game in Banjo-Kazooie and you just get the game over screen.
Opening a new
you do, don't you?
Any open world game that you haven't played and it's like a partially finished game, you open it back up and you're like, who am I? What am I doing?
Yeah, I've seen the Gandalf meme where he's like, I have no recollection of this place.
Or what about like the end from Metal Gear Solid 3? Like the boss at the end.
I
actually find that quite charming because this integrated quite well. The idea of like taking such a break that the boss dies from old age.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely love that. Like, say what you will about Hideo Kojima, he might be, I guess, eccentric and a few other things, but he like the things he puts into his games are things no one would have thought of before.
Yeah.
No, absolutely
like
not.
No one would have thought, you took a break from the game for a week because you had to work. Now the boss has died from old age. That's absolutely a Kojima thing to put in.
I like how he must have. I imagine how he pitched that to like the programmers and the scenario designer. It was just like, well, no, this enemy. He's the end. He's like an old man representing like the finality of life. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, if the player leaves the console off for like a week, I want him to just be dead when they come back.
That's like the video game equivalent of skipping the credits, right?
Yeah, it's also cool that you can kill.
Much.
You can pretty much kill the end before you even encounter him as well. Like if you go up to a certain like point of the game, you can see him leaving in his like wheelchair. You can just snipe him, and you don't fight the end.
Yeah, that's true. You can do that, can't you?
Yeah.
I think there's like a few instances in that game where you can get essentially early kills that you shouldn't be able to get, and you get like a time paradox bad ending.
Yeah.
The thing I'm not keen on this whole thing is it's just whole situation is just like they're just pushing you on your time. Like this, or one of the articles that came out and probably blew it up was the fact that this was a guy in Kotaku who's played 33 hours of it, and then they're still sending him emails.
Oh
like,
yeah,
surely you can
do
better.
Jack, this screenshot that you've got for us here has like 2,186 kills, 33 hours. Like, could you beat the game in that time frame?
Yep.
Oh, what's the point of? What do you mean? They beat the game.
I don't understand.
So
it's like
my only issue is like, where does it stop? Because like we might look at this and be like, oh yeah, you know, that fits in the character of Castillo and it works for Far Cry. But how long until someone at EA sees this and thinks, I'm gonna send them an email daily to remind them to play FIFA and buy FIFA points?
Oh no, you wait until Konami gets a hand of this and it's like, what's
man.
the spam limit of an email address again?
Like it's equivalent to trying and, you know, giving daily login rewards, but it's a bit like well,
it
just feels like there's this constant focus on just hours played.
I will be honest, you're more likely to get a daily login out of me if you don't fucking message me.
Correct.
Like,
I think that
100%.
Piano teachers should take up this methodology. Just at the end of every week, send "I'm very disappointed in you" and just like, this is how many hours you practice. Surely you can do better than this.
I thought you were saying the daily login reward.
No, but it's kind of stupid, the fact that it's like, this is a hobby.
yeah.
I think that's the thing for me, where I was like, when did we stop just playing video games for the fun of it, and it just started being like, yeah, the company is taunting you that you're not playing their game?
I really
now you
want to know
don't play
though,
games enough. Ugh.
is this a one-off thing, or will this like happen again and again? And if
I'm
so,
pretty
what's
sure Ubisoft's done this before, because I saw a few comments of people saying it, and I've cleaned out my emails recently, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I remember something like that before. It
I
might have
hope-
been in Immortals that it gave me messages like that.
I hope it's not recurring. Imagine you open your email 5 years down the line with a new notification, and it's fucking Castillo again, and he's like, you haven't been in Yara for a while.
And you killed him in the game as well. He's just dead. So you finished the
I
game.
was gonna say, I assume you kill him in the game, so it's gonna be like this thing of like, so who's
Okay,
emailing me?
I will say I'm the only one out of us who's playing Far Cry right now, and I have not
Incorrect. I'm
managed
playing
to-
5. Incorrect. I'm playing 5.
Well, okay, I'm the only one out of us playing Far Cry 6, and I am not up to the end yet, so I'm not gonna. I have no idea if you do end up killing Castillo or he lives or whatever.
It would be
or
very
what the
on
ending
brand
options
for you
are.
to kill the main villain in a Far Cry game. That's all.
You know what, right? I want to discuss something. So, a while back, you guys have all seen it by now, at least in pictures. I bought dark plates from Dbrand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, have all of you kept up with the Dbrand versus Sony back and forth?
Just the
I
beginning
can
of
give
it.
the rundown of it.
Alright, so Dbrand was selling these things called dark plates. They were matte black PS5 side plates. So the white ones you get on your PS5, this was a replacement for them. Dbrand put their own like versions of the Sony face button symbols, the X, square, triangle, and circle. and they made a whole joke on the webpage about like how Sony couldn't sue them for this because it wasn't their exact. Like it was Dbrand's spin on the stuff. Like Sony couldn't sue them because it was technically original.
Right, they were skirting on the edge.
Yeah, and they were going good for a while until Sony hit them with the cease and desist. And Dbrand took the dark plates off. You couldn't buy them anymore. And Dbrand said, and I quote, "We will bow to the terrorist demands for now."
I didn't realize that was the quote.
That was the actual quote from Dbrand. And I think it was like the next day or 2 days later, Dbrand came back and said, "We have dark plates V2." And look, right.
And so, they've got retro grey and all white plates as well.
Yeah, so from what I saw on the Dbrand stuff, they have vents on one vent on each side of the plate to help the thermals. I don't know if it actually does help or how much it helps. I haven't looked into it. To be honest, I prefer the look of the first version. But Dbrand sort of came back, and if you check out the website, it pretty much says, "Fuck you, Sony, try to sue us out of this one." And yeah, I haven't seen Sony respond yet, but I mean, look, they didn't like the first one. I don't think they're going to be too big on this.
They're probably fuming.
No, the legal department's probably like, "Oh, want to take on the $1 million company, do you?"
You know what? I feel like if I was Dbrand, I would just like every time Sony hits me with the cease and desist, I'd make a slightly different plate and just keep doing it to piss off Sony.
Wait, you just keep doing it until you've deviated so much they can't do it anymore?
Pretty much. They'd hit me with a cease and desist. The next day I'd have different plates up. But you know what? I will say the big comment that I've seen around all the posts for this is people saying things like, "Oh, but Sony don't sell replacement faceplates. The only official Sony faceplates come on the PlayStation. So why shouldn't Dbrand be able to make money off it?" And I kind of understand that in a sense, because if you think of a car, right, you can buy a car and put different rims on it, and the manufacturer of the car won't turn around and be like, "Take those BBS rims off right now." No one's going to do that, unless they're Ferrari.
No.
It can void your warranty depending on what you do with it, though. And they're probably worried. Well, what Sony's probably worried about is people taking the plates off, screwing the PlayStation themselves, and then they have to come back and try and fix it.
So, I don't know if you guys have actually read...
That'd be my guess.
I don't even know if you guys have read, like, the PS5's, like, warranty guidelines or anything like that.
No!
Oh,
it's like a terms and conditions. Who reads it?
No.
Come on.
So, I looked into it when I got my Dbrand plates because I wanted to see if that would void the warranty. And on Sony's website, it straight up says, word for word, "Removing the plates will not void the warranty."
Okay.
So, if you move the plate and that, you know, and that's all you've done, your warranty is still perfectly valid. To be honest, when I saw the faceplates come out, and I'm sure you guys remember where they did that teardown before the PS5 was released.
Yeah.
One of the first things I thought, and something I noticed a lot of people thought was, "Oh wow, Sony's going to be selling, like, they'll obviously make, like, their own faceplates. Like, they'll be, like, maybe if you buy, like, an Ultimate Edition of a game, it might come with faceplates or something to swap."
Do you think that's why they're trying to do this, though?
Sorry, what was that, Jack?
Do you think that maybe that's why they're trying to take them down? Because they actually have some in the works, and obviously not enough people have the PlayStation yet, so there's no point in them releasing them yet. But when they do, I wonder if that's why they're sort of trying to stop anyone buying.
Right, you're thinking, like, you don't want a third-party market in there?
Yeah, they just want to be the only market.
Look, I'll
which would be on brand for Sony.
I will be 100% honest. If you do not want a third-party, like, brand, the only way to get around that is proprietary, like, stuff on your console. I'm sorry, if something...
And buying them out.
If something exists for your console, there's a third-party version of it.
100%.
Every console that has a controller...
How much it's like...
And the worst thing is, you can't make proprietary stuff because fans hate that. Remember when the PS Vita had proprietary memory cards? And you couldn't just use any micro SD? People lost their shit.
Yes.
I remember that. And at the time, I remember I was one of the people that was like, dude, why would you make it proprietary? I get it. I get it now. Obviously, it's a business thing, but like... You can't say I.
No, you got to ask it from the consumer's point of view as well.
But
like, that's a valid point of view.
But you can't say I don't want a third-party market for this, and at the same time, no one's allowed to make anything for that, even though it's replaceable, even though it doesn't void the warranty.
Look, I'm just saying here, Etsy is going to be flooded with these fucking things, and 3D printing
it already is.
To do it. Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's not like these things can't be replicated. It's just I think Sony just doesn't want like Dbrand doing it because they have they got in early, they got their foot in, they're quality stuff, and they're like, hey, no, we don't want like anyone legitimately doing this and earning a living off of it.
Well, it's also I think it's literally it's a little bit of kicking down the competition a little bit because I have no doubt why would you not sell plates when they designed the PlayStation 5 like this? Like, it's easy money.
Yeah, and it's
as long as they're not crap, it's easy money.
Also, there are a few people that have made their own custom plates, and Sony hasn't given a shit. So clearly, if it's a personal thing, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, as long as you got a 3D printer.
Yeah, well, it's probably because they're not selling them.
Yeah, exactly. As long as
that's why I think it's. That's why I think it's them just going, we're worried about it because it'll hurt our bottom line when we try and make them. Yeah.
That's my guess. It is worth saying that none of us work at Sony, so we don't actually know any of this. This is all
it's all speculation, but like it's more to do with like, look, Dbrand is like one of the biggest places for plates, fair to say. Yeah. Like individual companies, and that's what they do, and it's. From a legal, I understand it from like a copyright thing because I think Sony has the copyright over the design specs of the PlayStation 5 plates. And if they don't defend that copyright when someone is just opened up a business to do it, they can't stop anyone in the future from doing it. So, for instance, let's say they don't do anything with Dbrand, and then like, let's say fucking Zbrand comes out and they mass produce these plates at like for chips. You know what I mean? Sony wouldn't be able to step in and stop like a harmful business practice, which is just like, they're just mass producing like huge copyright infringement shit, and we can't defend our own copyright because we failed to do it in the first place.
Look, I'll be 100% honest. If you're Sony, you have the advantage because 99 times out of 100, let's say someone does want to swap out their faceplates. If Sony have their own branded ones, there are going to be so many people who are like, I don't want to research and see who makes the best ones. I'm just going to buy the official Sony ones.
Oh, and people won't know that getting rid of the faceplates doesn't void the warranty. People might think that it does, and they just go, if I get the Sony ones, it won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other reason why I think Sony's done this is a lot of big companies do this. They threaten legal action. They send the cease and desist. It's mostly just them going... trying to call your bluff, going, they've got lawyers, they can pay the lawyers, you can't, we can pay the lawyers, so if it goes to court, we don't even really care if we lose, really, because we're gonna win, but we're just betting on the fact that you're not going to take us to court because you don't have that sort of backing.
That is definitely, okay, I know that's a big legal thing, but that is definitely a huge thing with copyright law especially, is that people will essentially copyright very vague kind of ideas. This doesn't happen as much anymore, but they would copyright basic vague ideas, and then they would just send cease and desist to anyone who slightly infringes on that. I think it happened with Skype, because someone claimed to have the copyright for the idea of video sharing, or live video sharing before that process or technology even existed. They just sat on the idea until someone actually did it, and then just went, okay, I'm just going to sue anyone who tries to do this. Yeah, and most companies will just go, okay, I'll just settle it out of court. Because it's way, way cheaper than actually going to court. Even if they go to court and win, they can lose money on it. It can just be a loss in the end. And this idiot who had the idea might not have any money for them to take in the first place, and they might not get anything out of it.
That's why I think it's a little bit of just them going, well, call our bluff. Prove that we can't stop you from making the plates. So, yeah. Charbs, I believe
Yeah, it's a
you're
complicated
excited
situation.
about some remasters.
All right, everyone, let's put aside the next half an hour.
Yeah. I'm just gonna pull up Twitter and let you go for a bit.
everyone's about to be occupied while I rant. So we finally got a look at the improvements that will be coming with the new GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition.
Now, Charbs, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Are you happy about those improvements?
Oh, look, all I care about is if the game can actually perform with these.
Okay.
That's my first thing. So there's one thing that makes me skeptical, and I hate that I have to bring any sort of negativity into this because I love those games.
Yeah.
But it is worth noting that the PS3 and Xbox 360 port of San Andreas, the one that's terrible, and if you want to see anything about it, watch Vadim M's video. That was made by Wardrum Studios. It was way too glitchy. It's honestly probably one of the most glitchy games ever released. It was a terrible port. That was done by a studio named Wardrum Studios. Now, when this trilogy, when this was all being, I guess, rumored, all the sources said Rockstar is doing this. Now, obviously, until Rockstar actually announced it, we don't know which Rockstar Studios was working on this. But I looked, and it's being made by a studio called Grove Street Games. And I'm like, oh yeah, Grove Street, because that, Grove Street's the home of the protagonist of San Andreas.
Yeah.
And why have I never heard of Grove Street Games? It's because they were formerly War Drum Studios, the team responsible for that terrible port on the PS3. So I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna wait till the reviews come out. If the reviews say they perform great, then I will buy it. I will.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I don't have it pre-ordered right now. Now, moving on.
Wow,
from that,
I'm surprised about that.
Now, moving onto the actual trailer in the game, I like the improvements. I didn't know what to expect. We obviously knew that these were remasters, not remakes. We knew that we weren't going to get GTA 5 graphics in Vice City. So I didn't know what to expect, but I'm honestly really happy with how things look. They have said the controls and the targeting system will be improved. They even said San Andreas, the third game, which I don't know why the others don't have this, but San Andreas has an entirely new drive-by targeting system, which I would bet is probably something closer to GTA 5.
Yeah.
And I guess it makes sense because CJ's a LA gangster, the drive-bys in the 90s were a thing. But honestly, I'm very, very excited, and as long as these games can run well on whatever platform I want to buy it on, I'm happy. They will run at 4K and up to 60 FPS. On PC, it'll make use of NVIDIA's, I believe, Reflex, or whatever it's called. It'll also take advantage of DLSS, which, if you do have an NVIDIA GPU, that's fantastic fucking news. Everything else is kind of the stuff you'd expect. Better draw distances. Obviously, it redid foliage and water systems. It honestly looks really promising. The lighting is actually probably the biggest improvement, and the one where it shines, I'm assuming, pardon the pun, but the brightest is Vice City. The neon lights of the 80s look absolutely spectacular in this remake. I love it. If you had told me to picture what a remaster would look like, not a remake, this is pretty close to what I would want. They've also shown the specs that you'll be needing if you wish to run this game, or this trilogy of games. Not very, they don't recommend anything too high, so should be good on fairly average computers. But
I think some people have pointed out though that they might be worse than, or they might be requiring higher specs than GTA 5 does.
Yeah, but to be fair, GTA 5 was in 2013. That's when it released.
Yeah, I know, but having an old
GTA
game
5 came out in
require
2013.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
God.
It came out in I think 2014 on PC.
That's how long they've been milking.
14 or 15, one of them.
Oh my god.
It's been that long.
Yeah,
It's been a
really.
long-
April 2015.
I would say a
On
lot
Steam,
of people.
anyway.
A lot of people are probably just happy it's a GTA game that's not 5 being shown again.
You're probably not wrong.
Like honestly, if they had opened the that PlayStation showcase with the trilogy instead of GTA 5 on PS5, I think people would have acted very differently. But no, look, honestly, the trailer looks good. Everything looks pretty good. One thing they haven't mentioned, which I really hope they have done, is I don't know how much you guys know about the licensing issues with Grand Theft Auto, but a lot of the music on the radios, some of it gets removed after, I think, 10 years due to, like, licenses expiring, and then they pull that out.
Yeah.
And, like, San Andreas lost, like, a couple of good songs. I think they had, like, Gorillas in the Mist by Lynch Mob and, like, Tupac's I Don't Give a Fuck. Like, they took out quite a few songs, so I really hope that the songs they took out are actually back. But, yeah. Honestly, if you haven't played those games for any reason, and this definitive trilogy edition, if it performs well, I honestly can't recommend these games highly enough. There you go, boys. I cut it short for you. I can rant for another 30 minutes, but I thought I'd be nice.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
So,
Did we want to talk about Halo Infinite for about 3 seconds?
damn it, you ruined my transition.
What was your transition?
I was gonna say, so I heard there was another trailer that got shown off as of recently.
But it wasn't a trailer.
Halo Infinite.
But it wasn't a trailer. It was a campaign overview.
Yeah.
It went
upcoming video showing off some stuff. Yeah, it's probably not a trailer. You're right.
Anyway, it's a 6-minute long campaign.
There was Halo Infinite campaign footage. The first time we've seen that since 2020 when it got what do you want to call it? Was it roasted?
Yeah, it was absolutely shit on.
So it looks a lot better now. To no surprise, they given they delayed the game to make it look a whole lot better. Campaign is very interesting. The fact that Halo is going open world, which is not what it's done before, and
yeah, no, right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fully open world, because I remember seeing an article saying that it was sort of like
so there's some open worldness, and how they described it was like it's the most open world Halo's ever been. The thing that I was sort of like, I'm not sure if this works for Halo, is that it made me think, maybe it's just because I've been playing Far Cry. I looked at the map and I looked at some of the gameplay, and it made me think it was just futuristic Far Cry.
So I wasn't the only one. I wasn't the only one thinking that.
And I'm not the. I've seen on Twitter a couple of people were like, I saw that map, and I just thought of Far Cry, and I'm just wondering if, I don't know. So many people have been hyped for Halo, and I think the multiplayer is going to knock it out of the park, so it doesn't matter. But a lot of people play the campaign, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it's incorporated.
Yeah,
because that's another thing. In an open world, is a lot different playing multiplayer, playing co-op with your buddy. You just play missions with your buddy, whereas if it's open world, a little bit different with how you get into that.
Well, I mean,
and that's probably why it's been harder for them to do co-op, actually.
Yeah,
the more I think about it.
I will say, like, and I say this with all due respect to any game developer watching this, the sad thing about that whole no co-op at launch situation is people really don't give a fuck why there's no co-op. People just like, I want co-op.
Yeah,
and
100%.
like, I honestly feel bad for devs who have to hear that all day. But like,
it's the truth though.
I will say, I don't think I'll be buying this campaign at launch. Like, let's say they charge $100, which is the Australian standard, and like, the multiplayer is free. There's no Forge. There's no co-op campaign at launch. Like, and like, I would honestly hope they're not charging the full 100 for it. I think they might, because
I'm hoping they don't either, because that would be pretty rough to.
I would not pay.
For a
I would not
campaign.
pay $100 for just a Halo campaign.
Yeah, I'd be waiting for sale if they want to charge that much.
Yeah.
Especially when you can play multiplayer with your mates.
But the good news is if you have Day Pass, you'll... sorry, not Day Pass. Game Pass, you'll get it on day one.
Well, your words... Your brain thought before your words.
It is not my night.
The damn pass.
On game one.
Any other thoughts?
When you mentioned like the Far Cry thing, I noticed that you can go through and attack like enemy bases.
Yeah.
I thought, that's when I thought, okay, they're going the Far Cry route.
And you were gunning them down with like in a car, which is like what I've been doing in Far Cry, and I'm like, man, this looks like Far Cry in the future. I don't
mind it.
I think some people are going to enjoy that, but I'm coming in from this as having played a little bit of Halo, not a lot of Halo at all, and I'm just wondering if it's going to hit the audience that it wants to hit.
As a Halo fan, meaning I've only played the first 3 games, this is profoundly interesting, and I'd love to see it. I'm not going to buy it at launch though. Fuck that.
Fair.
Yeah.
I will say the gameplay. I don't know if it's just me or the fact that I've been playing like Far Cry and like a bunch of other like very fast reaction stuff recently, but like the gameplay looked a little bit slow. Like it didn't really look very high octane. I don't know, maybe it's what they show, because they never show you fighting huge amounts of enemies.
They also may have shown it on easy difficulty though. Everyone knows with skull when you add skulls to Halo.
I will say as well, they also did show that you'll have like an armor/upgrade system. So maybe once you get your armor and upgrades, you'll actually be able to take more advantage of movement.
You're not a basic bitch Spartan anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Hopefully everything goes well. I honestly do want to see 343 put out a positively received Halo for once.
That would be nice.
Bro, what if it actually adds in like RPG mechanics? That would be out of the left field.
Like, I've got friends who are like they love Halo 1, 2, and 3, and they won't play anything that Bungie didn't make.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, Halo 1, 2, and 3 are fucking awesome.
Yes, they are. They're all like 2 hours I've played of Halo 1's campaign. But no, look, in all honesty, I really do hope for the best. I will probably play it on Game Pass. But yeah, that's about it.
I'm sure I'll play the multiplayer with mates and then see about the campaign. Anyway, I'm going to move us on to the next episode of Blizzwatch, which is what I'm calling the goddamn fortnightly update of what the hell is happening at Blizzard.
Yeah, I noticed you actually called it Blizzwatch.
Yes, because that's literally what it feels like. We're just on Blizzwatch.
Well, they've changed McCree's name.
McCree's name's getting changed, guys, and it was a lot of what people were predicting behind the scenes of like, hey guys, it's just going to be Jesse McCree was his fake name. Now he's just going to be using his real name because that's what outlaws do. That's exactly what they did.
I hope there's
my god, really?
I hope there's like a voice line in the game where someone still refers to him as McCree and he goes,
100%.
I made peace with my past, I'll use my real name now.
Probably
Cole Cassidy.
So
Jesse?
one of the
Never heard of him.
One of the quotes was, to make this new Overwatch better, to make things right, he had to be honest with his team and himself. The cowboy he was rode into the sunset, and Cole Cassidy faced the world at dawn.
Now, if I'm reading correct
Cole
here,
Cassidy.
there's a very slight, ever so very small issue with that name.
Yeah, there's a small issue.
Before we point that out, just for anyone who doesn't know, the name Jesse McCree that was given to the character was named after a Blizzard employee, a former Blizzard employee, who did some terrible things, and now that's why Blizzard
is named in a lot of the allegations that we've talked on multiple podcasts about.
So, Blizzard's new name, Cole Cassidy, does have something attached to it.
Which they're going from a lot of allegations to, what, Shards?
So, his new name, Cole Cassidy, is very similar to that of porn star Cassidy Cole. We are not...
Why didn't they just fucking call him, like, fucking Butch Cassidy? Would it have been that hard to just be like, yeah, generic cowboy name? The
no
big
one ever-
that one.
They could just like try to like just make a spin-off from Red Dead and call him like Johnson Mast or some shit like that.
John Mast.
John Mast.
So, tell me, when you guys did game development courses, they never just ask you to just, before you give something a name, just give it a Google, just to see if anything comes up.
We were told to
Dude, that's
Google...
like lesson 1 with doing anything. Is
Well-
you Google everything you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google anything.
I mean, it would have been really awkward if one of us had a main character by the name of, like, I don't know, fucking Adolf or some shit. So it's like...
Listen, it reminds me of a specific story. Are you guys aware of Hannah Montana's original name?
Yeah. Oh, yes, I know this. I know this.
So the story
Josh,
was
please-
when they
please
were
explain it.
Enlighten
when they
the
were
audience.
pitching Hannah Montana originally for the Disney Channel years and years ago, they wanted to give her a slightly different name originally until some probable intern blushing went, guys, you really shouldn't be calling the kids show protagonist Alexis Texas. Oh no!
Yes, that was the actual like beta name for Hannah Montana.
Oh,
Listen, I'm
Why?
just saying. What an amazing thing for kids to Google search millions of times. It just astounds me how far things can go into production until someone's like, hey, we should like check if anyone shares that name who might be like famous that we've missed. Because if you look up that name, I suggest doing it with the safe search off. Or you're not going to get the results you're thinking about.
And if you don't, and if you have someone in the house you don't want reading your browser history, go incognito.
Yeah, you definitely go incognito. I gotta admit though, I don't know how you get that far. How does a professional staff not be like, hey, let's just make sure, just double check that we're not stealing this from somewhere.
there's nothing wrong. Well, whatever people want to do in their spare time, and if they want to look at porn stars, whatever. But you probably don't want to name a main character in your supposedly pretty PG friendly game after a porn star. Just my general feel of
Now
the whole
we're
thing.
not saying that Blizzard fucking went, let's just name him after a porn star. He's clearly named after some famous cowboys. Probably a portmanteau of two. I don't know who Cole is, but I'm sure there's a cowboy named Cole somewhere.
They could have called him Ron Jeremy.
Why didn't they fucking call him Sundance or something? Just fucking go ham, man.
Because I feel like Blizzard would be like, they would find a way to make that offensive at this point.
I know.
Like, would it really surprise you if they went, and now our cowboy of Native American descent, Sundance the Chief?
Oh no.
Oh,
yes.
God, no.
That is I would bet that's the direction Blizzard would have thrown themselves into. Just leave it at the name of a porn star. They're safe here. It's established. It's done. Don't mess with it anymore. I don't trust Blizzard at this point.
So I just googled Cole, cowboy, and the first thing that came up was the song "Where Have All the Cowboys Gone" by Paula Cole. That
I don't think that's where they got it from.
An influence.
Paula
It
Cole.
could be. You don't know.
Is that the same singer that did Red Iron on his hip?
No, because Paula Cole is a woman, and Red Iron was by.
Oh.
Oh God, who is Big Iron?
Oh, sorry, Big Iron.
Who's Big
yeah.
Iron by?
For reference,
Big
Cassidy is a cowboy name used. I think it was in a book a long time ago.
Are you
like
referring
Cassidy? No, it's by Butch Cassidy.
Cassidy
he's
and the
a real
Sundance
cowboy.
Kid?
Yeah.
Butch Cassidy.
No, but I think
Sundance
I think it
Kid.
even became before that. I think that's based off another Cassidy.
You think
Pretty
that
sure.
you think Butch Cassidy, the real life human being who existed in America, was based off of a book character? His parents were very progressive at the time. Marty Robbins. If you're thinking of
never
Marty
mind.
Robbins.
I was gonna say, thank God, Game of Thrones hadn't been out yet. They would have named him Khaleesi.
Man, I'm just saying,
Wow.
Hitler was really based off of the hit character Darth Vader.
All right, I screwed up.
That's fucked up.
Never mind.
No, I'm just saying. No, we're just.
No, I completely. I butchered that. That's how I'm going to get us to move on. Okay, done.
All right, you guys want to go to the state of play?
Yeah,
State of play is coming.
we have to reclaim Jack's dignity.
That's gone.
So let's start with what we know. Sony has confirmed Little Devil Inside will be shown.
Yeah, and this is Sony PlayStation State of Play. This is the mob we were talking about earlier, doing bad things. So hopefully this is good stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think they.
Now I'm looking
I
at
think-
Little Devil Inside. Oh, it's very cute.
No, it's honestly, I really want to see more of Little Devil Inside ever since the first trailer. But
It's
I
adorable.
think I remember reading somewhere that this state of play would be focused on third-party games that were coming.
Yeah,
to
they
the
said
PS5.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Meaning,
Okay. Yeah.
I have one
Man, I
expectation.
can't wait for another like 20 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy, followed by 10 minutes of every other
Thank
title.
God.
Apparently that turned out good.
Yeah, apparently Guardians of the
Yeah,
Galaxy
yeah.
is actually, everyone is loving that. That came
Look,
out this
I don't
week
mind
to give
that.
you
I'm
context.
happy.
Ooh,
I'm
that's
happy
really
Guardians
good.
of the Galaxy is good. I genuinely am. I always want good games. I'm just saying, it was very annoying.
Yes, no,
It
I
was,
know.
yeah.
No arguments there.
I will say this. Can you imagine, right? Black screen. Like Sony does their little startup intro. Rockstar logo appears. It's Grand Theft Auto 5 expanded and enhanced. if they start the show with that again, someone is legitimately taking the piss at this point.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Could you imagine it just comes up with like Square Enix and it's like Final Fantasy and everyone's like, oh, 16. It just comes up 13 trilogy.
Oh my god, that would be what a disaster. Why? Why would you do that to yourself?
Kingdom Hearts 3.2457.
That's possible. It's
Yeah.
scary.
Is there a fucking... Oh my god. Sorry,
No,
I just saw
it'll
the
be-
Family Guy made a JoJo reference and it took me out of this conversation a little bit.
No, it'll be Kingdom Hearts, the story so far. Plus fucking what do they call that spin-off one? Melody of Memories or some shit.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts Mom. Welcome to the next one, Kingdom Hearts Dad.
So
So
what do
what
we
do we
expect?
think they're going to show?
Final Fantasy 16.
It's
Dragon Quest 12.
could.
Look,
be
I
fun.
actually think we might actually see GDA expanded and enhanced. I hope we don't. I hope we see something new. But I think we might actually see GDA expanded and
At some
enhanced.
point, companies have to stop and make a new thing.
No!
Please.
Why would they do that when they
Please
keep getting money
Make
from the
a
old
new
thing?
thing.
Somewhere, wherever he is, Todd Howard felt a disturbance in the force.
I was about to say, Skyrim's literally coming out again on November 11th. The 10-year anniversary, so they're releasing another edition. What are you expecting?
But hey, they do make
Yeah,
a new,
yes, I'm playing it.
But hey, they do make a new thing, but it has the same plot twist.
Oh.
Okay,
Wow.
so hear me out. What if the state of play starts like this, right? Sony animation starts, screen goes black. A character appears in front of you. And the first words they speak are, "Well, you're finally awake."
Oh my god. Todd Howard, you've done it again. I imagine...
He's done it again, the madman. He's meant to be working for Xbox, but he's done it again.
It comes up Oblivion, and it's like, psych, Skyrim mod.
Morrowind Remastered.
Okay, well, while we are talking about Sony, we do have to point out some controversy. I forgot to bring this up earlier prior to the podcast.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of fan backlash at the announcement that God of War 2018, the PS4 exclusive, will be coming to PC.
Only on
yeah,
PlayStation only has no meaning now. You've
a lot
exposed our sacred games to these toxic people. I've lost faith in this company.
Yeah, no, a lot of...
You
People
Nintendo follower, you.
Look, you know what? I actually saw a comment where someone had said, "This is why I only buy Nintendo consoles, because you know they'll never put this stuff on PCs."
Wow.
I don't
Wait,
understand
someone
why
actually
people
said
are so mad.
That's a lie.
I'm surprised someone didn't say the opposite. Like, this is why I don't invest in Nintendo, because they're just
Have you
pure.
seen Monster Hunter?
They're just purely
anyone
fucking
had
like
a look at
exclusive centric.
Monster Hunter wasn't an exclusive to Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's been on PlayStation plenty of times.
Yeah.
No, but like the funny thing was with that Nintendo comment, the bottom comment under it was someone saying, "I don't know what you mean. I'm playing Nintendo on my PC right now with an emulator."
Man, I'm gonna get sick of people doing that. If you're
Thousands
using
of
an
other people
emulator,
doing
shut the
that.
fuck up about it.
I
I don't
gotta
care.
ask. I gotta ask. What do you guys think of emulation of current games, current systems?
I
Disgusting.
feel like that is wrong.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
is just
I agree.
piracy.
Like I don't mind emulating games that are out of print, because at that point you can't buy them at a retail store anymore. Or you have to pay an exorbitant price for the hardware
no
that
one's
the
mad
game
at
ran
you.
on.
No one's mad at you
Yeah.
emulating Pokemon Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay.
But
Let me go over what
It-
the rules are.
Hold up.
You're allowed
If
to
you-
emulate it. Go on.
If you emulate just a game, like a lot of people think like that's the thing, but like games unfortunately require very specific hardware to run them. I can't put Pokemon Blue, as you said, into a PlayStation. And the
No.
fact that now buying old consoles is fucking expensive, in addition to buying
And
old
hard, 'cause
games
they're just not
that are fucking
being
expensive. And like, I mean, Josh and F, you two probably have it the worst because you played like old JRPGs that got fuck all of a release in the West.
Oh, 100%. That's exactly how
we and Amp have our own
Charbs.
opinions on how emulation works.
Charbs.
Like, I honestly believe if like
Charbs.
someone emulates a PS2 game, that's fine.
Yeah, Charbs. Emulation is exactly how I got into JRPGs in the first place.
That doesn't surprise me.
But
Let me give you the lowdown. Let me give you the rules. All right. These are
okay,
the rules.
okay, I'll let you go.
Okay, these are the rules. You can emulate a game if it's not available in your country,
Yep.
because at that point you can't purchase it and they don't want you to. So there's no point.
So you can
Two,
stick your big middle
The
finger
game
to them.
and the console are out of print and they're no longer being supported by the developer. Nintendo isn't making any fucking Game Boy Advance games anymore. You can emulate them. They're not going to lose any money. There's no theoretical loss here.
Yeah. No one's actually, no developer, no person that worked on it isn't getting their money's worth.
Yes.
for
So-
what they
And
paid.
the third one is a controversial one. I don't know if you guys will agree, but piracy is protest. I agree with.
I mean, I feel like piracy at this point is really the only way to protest.
Yeah.
Like, what
that's
else-
what I'm
what
saying.
else-
I agree with
What
piracy as far as
what
it-
else are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna write a letter to Nintendo hoping that the fucking one of the members of the board opens it and says, "Oh my god, little Timmy wants fucking Pokemon Emerald, and he doesn't have the hardware to run it. We need to re-release it." Like, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
But
Like,
I'm even talking about like the Blizzard situation, and I'm saying this: if you were a person who pirated the Diablo 2 remake, I don't blame you. I'm just saying,
No.
if you just couldn't, in good conscience, give them money, I understand.
I will say one thing I absolutely do not agree with is when people pirate current games when they can afford them because they say, "Oh, I just wanted to try it before, I paid money for it."
Okay, yeah.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, no,
I don't agree with that. That's a grey zone because I think that you self-justify it once you buy it. Like if you pirate a game for 400 hours and then you buy it and you never play it, I consider that perfectly fine. But that's a slippery slope and you shouldn't do it in the first place.
Well, I don't because you'll never ever hear me stand up for publishers, right? But it's going to look a lot different when you look at the game and you say, "Oh, I liked it. I pirated it and played 400 hours." And then in an investor meeting they say, "Oh yeah, our sales are down 20%. We don't want to greenlight a sequel to this."
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Chubba, I agree
does
in like
that.
long term. Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
I
if you
think that on an individual level, it's fine if you do that. Because in the end, you still made that purchase, therefore validating that experience, in my opinion. But on like a broader spectrum, you shouldn't do that in the first place.
Must be said though, games should have trials.
Yeah. Also,
Having
Oh, yeah,
trials
no,
of
definitely.
games, if it's like a level or like a 5-minute thing, that's
Yeah.
useful for
yeah,
people.
every game should have a demo. Like, it works really well to give you an incentive to actually buy it in the end.
No, you don't. But like, it's not the only way to get incentive. Like, demos used to be a much bigger role because not everyone could look at gameplay on the internet. There was a time where like there was no like 30 fucking channels and like massive fucking gaming journalists doing YouTube reviews and shit like that.
Yeah.
There was a time when the demo was literally the only time you were gonna see the game in motion.
Yeah, like when you look at gameplay trailers and all that, like that's cool and all that impresses you visually and all that, but nothing can replace game feel.
Yeah, I agree.
Like if to make sure that the game actually feels good to play and is fun to play is like, I don't know, it just feels validating.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think every game should have a trial, especially AAA. I don't see an excuse. I think if you're going to put
They
that
should
much
be able
effort
to
into
afford
marketing,
it and do it.
yeah, if you can put that much effort into bullshit marketing, especially the stupid shit they do sometimes, you can create a playable demo of the game and let people play it. Because if you do that, I think it would drive sales more effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, back to topic of hand of probably 15 minutes ago. What do we expect from the state of play?
Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 16 is what we expect. Well,
That's a good bet, I think.
I would be surprised if Final Fantasy doesn't show up.
I think it's a solid bet.
Yeah.
My only worry here is they said it's around 20 minutes. They can't chuck in a whole lot. So it's probably short trailers and then probably something that's like 6 minutes.
Yeah, I don't care if like the
I'd
Final
wager.
Fantasy 16 trailer is going to be like less than 1 minute. Just show the release date, and I'm.
Oh no, you just want a existence and date.
Yeah, I
confirmation.
said to myself, like, I'm about to go on a little bit, and I'll end it. I said I was going to go balls in with Tales of Arise and Final Fantasy 16. Tales of Arise has passed. I've platinumed it. Final Fantasy 16 is where it's at now.
Mm.
And I will put all my fucking moolah into that game. Alright, sorry.
No.
So one thing that I am wondering could be the headliner might be Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
That would
that'd be interesting.
Given we haven't seen that in a bit. We haven't seen it in a bit. I don't know if we have a whole lot of details about it other than when it was first announced, to be honest. And I think people would love more. And it would make sense of just upcoming PS4 and PS5 titles, they said. So I think that'd be a good bet.
I just want to know if you can learn Avada Kedavra.
Stray might be another one that I'm thinking, because that's PS4 and PS5 as well.
I hope they just do like some weird shit and just throw in like, here's a remake of like a PS1 game. Here's Ape Escape HD.
Oh my god! Like, I know Ape Escape won't be there because they said it's a third-party thing, but
That's the only thing, the third-party bit.
But it'd still be cool to get Ape Escape HD, eh?
Oh, bro, nothing would make me happier than them saying, "Hey, we got an Ape Escape like trilogy remake coming from Bluepoint or something."
Speaking of remakes, Josh, did you hear about the composer of Chrono Trigger saying that he's working on a remaster that's coming to PlayStation?
Oh god, oh please. That would be very nice. Please don't be Chrono Cross.
I mean, would you expect to see that tomorrow, do you think, or...?
It's likely,
Oh,
but there's
a
many.
likely chance.
He's worked on many things that were exclusive to PlayStation,
Okay.
like
That could be interesting,
like
though.
1 and 2. It could either be Chrono Cross or it's Shadow Hearts. Either one.
Shadow Hearts would be very interesting, actually.
It needs to return. I've never played it. I want to play it.
The other one might be the Gollum game.
Oh yeah.
I can't even remember when that's meant to come out. I'm just having a look. I think it's 2022. So
Did they say how that's gonna even play? Because it just sounds.
well, they had a thing a little while ago, and it's changed a lot of what it looked like, and a little bit of gameplay, I think, as well. It's one of those ones they've sort of like, it's happening. We've shown you a little bit, but not enough where anyone's confident in what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know why it's about Gollum, though, because I know Gollum's, like, you know, an iconic character, but he just comes across as someone who would stab me in an alleyway.
I think that's the thing, it's very much you're playing stealth. I'm pretty sure you're meant to play stealthily as him. Has been one of the aspects, because he's a pretty frail, small dude. He can barely overpower a hobbit, so I don't think he's taking on giant orcs necessarily.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't think of playing as a Centrelink customer for a game, but, you know.
So I'm just looking, it was originally meant to be released in March 2019, so you'd think they'd want to be showing something off of it.
Yeah.
It's really hard to work out anything else you think they'd actually bring. I reckon Hogwarts Legacy, I think, is a solid bet.
Gotham Knights?
Gotham Knights
might actually be there.
And then that'd be one that I feel would suit a shortish trailer if they're trying to get out lots of info.
It's kind of the right time for it because, like, the new Batman movie's coming out and all.
And they've just had Guardians of the Galaxy released, so they can move on from Marvel to DC.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll consider that too close and they won't do it, but I feel like it won't matter. It's just, that game's out, people are liking and enjoying it, just move on.
Yeah.
What else do we think is going to be there that day? It's kind of hard, because...
It's really hard, because just third party is, like, so...
Third party can mean anything. Just anything.
Yeah, well, with exclusives, it's like... Okay, you've got select studios, what are they all working on? When was the last time they released a game? Third party is like, I don't know, insert studio making game. It could be there, could not be there.
I think we can let our imaginations run wild a little bit.
I think Tecmo's going to come back from the grave. I've got a good feeling about this one.
Tecmo's still alive, they're just making mobile games.
Alright, Infamous has been picked up by a completely different studio and they're releasing a new game. Done.
Hey,
you're welcome, boys.
I've just realised, you know what? Actually, technically has a very slim chance of appearing.
Yeah.
What?
A new Bloody Raw.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know what that is.
It's a fighting game. It's
Okay.
like, I think, what's that book about the animals? That you transform into animals and shit?
Are you talking about, the...
Animorphs.
Like 1984?
Okay, so-
Oh, no, you're not talking...
Okay.
Yeah, think Animorphs, but a fighting game.
So in Bloody Raw, it's a fighting game, but each of the characters can turn into an animal. If you're the Chad, like me, you picked Gardo the lion. And anything else is pretty much... The only two characters you would ever want are Gardo and Yugo. Actually, Yugo's really interesting, because he appeared in this... I wouldn't call it a Smash clone. It was called Dream Mix TV World Fighters. Actually, Solid Snake was in it.
Alright, I think we need to wrap this up. He said the line.
No, you laugh, but I'm not fucking with you. It had Yugo, it had Solid Snake, it had the Transformers for some fucking reason.
I'm just gonna kick you out of the Discord so we can wrap the podcast up.
Yeah, but I'm legitimately not fucking with you. It's the time to bring this up.
I think I was thinking...
Charbel, we should put him into a very weird unmarked van with a bunch of Korean people.
I was thinking why he wasn't...
What are you doing? Sending me to the Squid Games?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, play red light, green light, my dude.
I saw a video of that creepy fucking doll dancing, and I'm like,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
it's
my
great.
nightmares now.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering why he was mentioning Bloody Raw. I'm thinking, wouldn't he mention Tekken 8 first? But then I kind of knew where he was going with this.
Well, I mean, no, look, I'd be happy if they showed a Bloody Raw or a Tekken 8. So, yeah.
Marvel
Okay,
versus-
anyway, I think on that note, it's time to wrap this up.
I think it is time to wrap it up.
Yeah, like Christmas, which is soon.
Oh, God, don't worry.
Wow. I'm gonna end this before... Oh, Oh dear. Sorry, Clinton, having to listen to this when you edit this. This has
We
been
mainly
the Save
do this
File
to talk to
podcast.
Clinton, so it's fine.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. We'll force him to listen to it. Someone has to. This has been the Save File podcast. Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
All good.
Signing off.
Signing off.
Yeah, guys.
We always say that at the same time, I swear. I swear.